The stones were not willing to readily reveal their knowledge. For decades, villagers living in the dusty hills of China's Loess Plateau thought that the crumbling rock walls located close to their homes were a section of the Great Wall. It made sense. The frontier of Chinese authority dates back more than 2,000 years. It is marked by the remnants of an old barrier that zigzagged through this dry region inside the northern loop of the Yellow River. Was this really a part of the Great Wall or something else? Archaeologists found some things that seemed oddly out of place. Pieces of jade, some of which had been fashioned into scepters, blades, and discs, began to be discovered in the wreckage by locals and later by looters. The closest source of jade is approximately 1,000 miles away from this region of the northernmost part of Shaanxi province. Hence, the Great Wall did not have any jade at the time. Jade was not a known component of the Great Wall. Why was there such a high concentration in this desolate region that was so close to the Ordos Desert? Several years ago, Chinese archaeologists were sent to explore the mystery. During their time there, they uncovered something that was both wondrous and mysterious. The stones were not a part of the Great Wall. Instead, they were the remnants of a beautiful garrison city. The continuous excavation has uncovered more than 6 miles of defensive walls that encircle a pyramid 230 feet high. The pyramid's inner sanctum contains painted murals, jade items, and horrible evidence of human sacrifice. Before the excavations had to be halted earlier this year because of a pandemic caused by the coronavirus, archaeologists discovered 70 incredible relief sculptures in stone. These sculptures depict serpents, monsters, and half-human beasts, similar to iconography from a later period of the Bronze Age in China. Even more astounding is the fact that carbon dating has shown that certain parts of Shimao, as the site, are known. However, its original name is unknown and dates back 4,300 years. This is nearly 2,000 years earlier than the oldest section of the Great Wall and 500 years earlier than Chinese civilization took root on the Central Plains, located several hundred miles south. The original name of the site is unknown. Around 2,300 BC and continuing until around 1,800 BC, the civilization of Shimao thrived in this seemingly inaccessible location. Then it was deserted out of the blue and for unknown reasons. Ancient manuscripts that have been used to guide Chinese archaeology do not reference an ancient city that is located so far north of the so-called cradle of Chinese civilization, much less one that was this large, complex, and had such intense interaction with cultures from other parts of the world. Art and technology that originated in the steppes of the north found their way to Shimao, now considered the most significant known Neolithic settlement in China. Shimao's 1,000-acre expanse is approximately 25% larger than Central Park in New York City. Shimao would go on to influence subsequent dynasties in China. With recent discoveries at other prehistoric sites in the area and along the coast, Shimao is compelling historians to rethink the beginnings of Chinese civilization by expanding their understanding of its earliest culture's geographical locations and outside influences. This is forcing historians to rethink the origins of Chinese society. Even though it is still only a partially excavated site in the desolate hills above the Tuwei River, Shimao gives off the first impression of a city specifically constructed to deal with constant peril. The town was established in the middle of a battle zone on a frontier plagued by fighting for thousands of years between herders from the northern steppe and farmers from the Central Plains. The influential Shimao people constructed an elongated pyramid with 20 levels atop the hill that was the highest in the area. This was done to provide protection against more aggressive adversaries. The tower, seen from every vantage point in the city, stands approximately one-half as tall as the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, which was constructed in the same period, in 2250 BC. But its base is 4 times larger, and the Shimao elites protected themselves even further by inhabiting the top tier of the platform, which included a 20-acre palatial complex with its water reservoir, craft workshops, and most likely ritual temples. This provided an additional layer of protection for the Shimao elites. Grisly discovery. The most gruesome find was made underneath the city's eastern wall. 80 human skulls were found grouped in 6 separate pits. However, None of them had any skeletons attached to them. There were precisely 24 skulls in each of the 2 pits located closest to the east gate, which served as the primary entry to the city. It is believed that a ritual beheading took place during the laying of the wall's foundation because of the number of skulls in their arrangement. This is the oldest known instance of human sacrifice in Chinese history. According to the findings of forensic scientists, practically all of the victims were young girls. These young women were most likely inmates who belonged to an opposing faction. The presence of the skulls is just one piece of evidence, suggesting that the East Gate heralded the beginning of a new world. Anyone who had walked through the threshold, which was above the subterranean sacrificial pits, would have been shocked by indications that were more immediately evident. A few of the stone blocks that made up the high terrace walls had lozenge-shaped motifs carved into them, which gave the impression that they were huge eyes looking down at the East Gate. Thousands of pieces of black and dark green jade were wedged into the stone walls at regular intervals. These ornaments, which shimmered in the light, served 2 purposes. They warded off evil. They projected the power and wealth of Shimao's aristocracy. Given the vast number of jade artifacts found at Shimao, it is likely that the city did not have its source of jade and instead imported large quantities from far away from trading partners. Sanxingdui. In the summer of 1986, construction workers in Sanxingdui, located around 40 kilometers outside of Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, made an incredible discovery when they came across a cache of ancient jades, bone, earthenware, elephant tusks, and colossal bronzes by accident. This unexpected finding of 2 sacrificial pits would become one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century and require historians to rewrite the early history of China. The artifacts had a date of approximately 1800 BC, a period when it was believed that the cradle of Chinese civilization was located 1,200 kilometers to the northeast on the Yellow River in the Central Plain region of China. On the other hand, the bronzes cast at Sanxingdui were significantly larger than anything else that had been seen previously and seemed very differently as well. It is estimated that the Sanxingdui culture lasted for more than 500 years before it disappeared without a trace, leaving behind no written records or human remains. A further archaeological discovery was made in 2001, this time in the city of Chengdu at Jinsha. This discovery gave possible clues to the enigma of where they might have gone. This exhibition will study the vast riddle of where this civilization that is 3,500 years old could have originated, where and why they suddenly vanished, and will present many of the most significant findings that have been made from both Sanxingdui and Jinsha. An ancient forest buried for centuries in China has been uncovered. Explorers of caves have discovered a hidden forest thriving and growing at the bottom of a sinkhole. Some of the trees in this forest are as tall as 130 meters. An enormous crater in the Guangxi area of South China has yielded the discovery of an ancient forest. The sinkhole is 630 feet deep and encompasses more than 176 million cubic feet of space. Scientists in China suggest that the woodland may be the habitat of rare species that have never been documented in scientific literature. The Guangxi location is well known throughout southern China for its sinkholes. The largest of the 30 is there. According to the reports, the site included a well-preserved primitive woodland at the base of its walls and 3 caverns. The sinkhole is stunning in addition to being perplexing, steep, and hazardous. As the expedition dropped vertically for a distance of 100 meters, they employed the single rope technique for caves to rappel along with the caverns. Inside the tunnels, they found a lush forest of trees and vegetation. The group made it to the bottom of the hole, which was covered with a tropical rainforest with trees that were urgently reaching upward, growing tall and thin, and giving the impression of having a slim appearance. The team on the excursion discovered a large piece of wild plantain and a highly uncommon square bamboo at the bottom of the trench. However, there was no cave at the bottom of the pit connected to the underground river, and it is thought that the underground river had been rerouted. Do you have any theory about this place? Do share in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to like, Subscribe and press the notification bell for future updates on more exciting mysteries. See you next time.